just filthy stuff that I've never heard of. And it was like one side sounding like the Transformers robots and another side where you're hearing hip hop mixed and blended in such a credible way, but you could feel the music. That was the difference. It was, you can feel the bass. The hairs on my arm were standing up. I had goosebumps. I was like, whoa. It wasn't until I went to my first festival at Virgin. It was Free Virgin Mobile Fest, and it was in Columbia, Maryland at Merriweather. A lot of concerts happened there, but this one in particular was unique. There was a mix of different artists, from Sade to Dave Matthews, Ludacris, and there was this one DJ, Afrojack. He's a house DJ. I never heard of him, but I sat through the whole entire set just mesmerized. It was like, wow, okay, that's, now my ear is listening out for house music. I've never heard house music like this, from the build-up intention and all the different lasers, and the lights on the stage were just super cool. Fast forward, it was this next festival I went to. It's called Starscape. Now, Starscape was multiple stages and bass DJs. I'm saying dubstep, trap, just filthy stuff that I've never heard of. And it was like one side sounding like the Transformers robots and another side where you're hearing hip hop mixed and blended in such a credible way, but you could feel the music. That was the difference. It was, you can feel the bass. The hairs on my arm were standing up. I had goosebumps. I was like, whoa. If this is the effect of music on this scale, I want to be able to do this. Like, if I can find incredible music like this and move crowds, I want to do this. So about 2012, I got my first laptop. I got a mixer. I was using a free program to DJ on my laptop, but when I got the controller is when I started learning how to DJ from other DJs. The first person who actually taught me how to DJ, oh man, Tim Willis. He is an incredible DJ, mixing house music, break beats, and he taught me while using CDJs, and I'm using my 2-deck mixer, and I was not allowed to hit the sync button. DJs know what I'm talking about. I was not allowed to hit the sync button. I had to play by ear and find the beat by ear, which actually helped me in the long run for mixing in the pressure of song requests, a lot of people partying, and being able to hear the beat and find it live in the real time. So what ended up happening was I got gigs right after that at house parties, and I didn't charge money. I didn't know what kind of business to run for that. I just wanted to be able to practice with people listening. So I played for alcohol and free food back in the day, and I got quite a few gigs. I actually didn't even have a car and a license at the time. People would drive me to these parties, and I would get driven back at the end of the night, but it was parties that would have up to like 100 people in one house. And yes, the cops came plenty of times, but man, it was such an incredible experience to be able to move people with underground music they never heard of. And they let me do my thing. They weren't really requesting songs. They were request every now and then, but like, oh, he's free. He's a free DJ. Let him play whatever he wants. That was a good feeling, you know? And then fast forward from there, where I coined golden EDM, and all the wristbands you see with my name on it was this bar, Golden Sports Bar. It started off with a beautiful bartender, my friend Eddie, who's a photographer, videographer, and me. And we had an idea, and we grew it from just us three to 100 people on a Tuesday night. They had 10 pool tables. They happened to have these beer pong tables that they used in previous years, just tucked away. So I grabbed a bunch of beer pong tables and set them up, and every now and then we would have them set up for tournaments, and I created all the rules. And that's actually where I started hosting my own beer pong tournament events in future bars. I used to ask the question, who can't be a DJ? It's so easy to just press play and then press play on the next song, but there's so much more to that. There's so much more to what sets the pros from the novice. It's one thing when you want to learn something that you could just play in your room and mix for yourself. There's another thing when you're on a stage in front of a bunch of people and you're moving crowds and you're able to be aware of who's enjoying what and knowing when to turn off the bad songs and switch on to the new songs that are good. And I've taught so many people, and to see only a couple from that group actually go and do their own thing. And it all started with me planting the idea of, are you open to new music? Because what's going to happen is you're not going to stay just a hip hop DJ. You're not going to stay just a house DJ. You're going to be requested songs. You're going to be immersed in so much different music and remixes. Being open allows you to increase your potential. So shout out to Almighty SG, Bab Lav, and Shadow Moss. I planted seed, taught them the technical, just the knobs, couple effects, but how to mix, how to move a room. And they took it to the next level. So from doing shows and getting gigs, it's super awesome to see that happen from just teaching them. But here's the thing. I like to throw people to the wolves so they can learn the way I learned. So no sync button, learning how to mix by ear and get the beat on, and just knowing when to switch to a new genre, when to speed it up and when to slow it down. And it's so fun to just kind of test them out and to throw curveballs and see them just continue to thrive in that. But I believe that anyone can be a DJ, but there's still a difference between what's going to let you continue to grow in that versus what's going to allow you to stay stuck as a bedroom DJ. Okay, well, I don't think the kids these days know what an iPod is, but a playlist that just goes from one song to the next is so not a DJ. And even if you put on a setting to allow it to blend or to go into the next song smoothly, it's still not it. The most important thing about a DJ is the personality. You will never find two DJs that miss the exact same way or have the same cogs turning in their head for what song is going to come in next or the potential for the next one. There's no two DJs that are alike. There's no such thing. And I believe the personality is what allows people to look when the song is right at the right time. And if you're at a party and you got a Spotify playlist, sure, everybody will appreciate, oh man, that's the song, man. And everyone's going in, could be LMFAO or Kid Cudi or whatnot. But when you're on stage and you play the right song and the energy is just right and everything is flowing, they will look up and see that you read the room. You knew that we needed to hear Shabuzi or anything that's just high energy at the right time. And also, if it's a 6 to 8 minute song, nobody wants to hear the whole thing. So transition out. Knowing when the verse is not known, but the hook and chorus is the only thing they know, you just play it one or two times, you can transition out. But just being able to have that feel for the room when enough is enough is what is setting you apart from a playlist as well. I learned patience. I learned about people and different cultures and personalities, from people requesting music to people that just didn't like what I was originally playing, and I got to learn what they like. And I used to work in a restaurant. We would serve, we would take orders, and when you deliver that order that they requested, they're filled, they're satisfied, they leave good review, they leave good tips. DJing is kind of like that. And when you're able to deliver that request to them, they are super satisfied, they're happy, and they can't get enough of it. Even better, when you deliver a song or several songs to people that never even requested anything. So you can only imagine getting a dish, oh, this is exactly what I wanted, and then getting exactly what you wanted for the dessert, getting exactly what you wanted for the drink, and you never asked for it. And that comes from the DJ reading the room and knowing the crowd. And there's nothing that beats that feeling. When it comes to learning new music, that's how I learned as well, because I never listened to the radio. It came from song requests. It came from new gigs. I've played country gigs. I've played R&B. I've played things that I was humble enough to say, I just don't know the music. And I would get the music and have it forever. So I have a selection of different gigs, from house music to Brazilian funk and club music. And it's just like the genres keep adding, and I'm so open to it. And when you're open to new genres, you open yourself to so many more potential gigs and clients and events. It's easy. You just look it up on the internet. You can watch a YouTube video of how to DJ. I think the best thing that I did was grab a free DJ program before I even bought any equipment. It might still be available. It was like free virtual DJ Pro. There was like a 7th version, and that was the best one that my friend recommended. I took the MP3 files that I had and I mixed them one by one. And then I was like, I need a controller, when I realized that what I was able to accomplish on that laptop, I could do way more with the 2-deck controller. You don't have to buy the best equipment. Anything that has play, the knobs for high, mid, lows, and just the faders, that's usually enough. There are also apps for like the phone and your tablets that allow you to mix, and you can actually plug that in with some adapters to full-on sound systems. I personally haven't dabbled with that, but that's how you get started. And honestly, if you didn't even have that equipment or that program, the most important thing I would say is to get some sort of way of collecting music. So a hard drive, an SSD, or a USB, to where you can start collecting music that comes up on your SoundCloud, or looking it up on Spotify and collecting it. And when you go to someone else's equipment, they can just let you plug into their USB, and then you can upload your music and mix it. It's a little bit different when you start using the higher end controllers and mixers like CDJs, where essentially you got to run it through programs and analyze the songs. And that's what a lot of the clubs use now, is CDJs. So you don't see laptops all the time, just the USBs.